Ema Oyakwaba Eba GC News, hot news all time, latest and hot news. And I'm the Bremo. Kwesi Pratt Jr., managing editor of the Inside newspaper. Also, I reacted to Naa Koryoo Arrést, NDC one parliamentary candidate for Owusu East. And some of course, Kwesi Pratt imagine Atuja. Now, answer me the same in our Bebano. Mrs. So we are subscribe to the channel now, Mrs. Over subscribe. Whatever I have say, over click the subscribe button now. What barely notification. When sir, new video be uploaded, so what's ever can be. After we are now, like video, give us a thumbs up. Now, share my offer for so now when you now watch it. Afriyie Mbura and Sammy. NDC one parliamentary candidate. Naa Koryoo Nano Wachino and Owusu similar to Ghana de Akana for Kina Senior Basa. Kwesi Pratt Jr., managing editor of the Inside newspaper, also the Nsimbi article. Na yesemreno yembo pini Kwesi Pratt nti and someone will be two gas. Also no the IGP who send former IGP for now what they want home some article. Nti and some Kwesi Pratt edit to the nti.
The case of Naa Koryoo is baffling. I mean, I spent a considerable part of last night watching television, watching the gathering at the cantonment police station. There's no indication that she can interfere with the investigations and so on. She is dumped into prison. Now, who are we talking about? We are not just talking about another parliamentary candidate of a political party, NDC or NPP and so on. We are talking about a young woman who has a 3-year-old child. That's what we are talking about. A young woman who has a 3-year-old child. Is this fact not important in considering the circumstances in which she finds herself and the circumstances in which she is placed? Have been committed where? At Ofanko?
Yeah.
No, so?
Yeah, Kaswa.
Is it Ofanko? No.
Yeah, Kaswa Ofanko.
Okay, Kaswa Ofanko. Yeah. So if this is not an extraordinary case, why has the suspect been detained at Cantonment Police Station? Her mere detention at Cantonment Police Station suggests that this is a very special case. Because otherwise, why? There's a district police and so on. Why is this case being handled by headquarters? Now, my brother, I'm going to say something which I should not be saying. 2 weeks ago, on this very program, I made what some have said is a passionate appeal to all the former heads, retired heads of the security services. You understand? All of them. And I mentioned them by name and said this is the time for them to speak up. If for nothing at all, to safeguard their lifelong work of building an enviable security service in Ghana. My friend, and he's my friend, everybody knows he's my friend, Kofi Boakye. Excellent career in the police service. Al-Hassan, who became IGP, excellent career in the police service. Mr. Kwansen, excellent career in the intelligence service and so on. Are they going to sit back and watch all the work that they did, devoted their life service to do, whittle away? Why are they so quiet? Don't they see what is happening? Don't they know that when Armageddon does arrive, even it's about setting examples, and any one of us can become an example. Let us handle these matters in such a way that we will protect our society and protect ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? Protect the society and protect ourselves. It is not all about altruism. It gets to a point where your own interest, the interest of your wife, the interest of your children, the interest of your extended family, the interest of your community should also matter to you. What kind of a father are you if you don't care about the safety of your children and your wife and so on? You are a useless father. So don't you ever think that you can become a father in isolation, a good father hiding somewhere when the society itself is burning. We should all be very, very careful. Armageddon is approaching, and Armageddon is approaching at a terrific speed. We need to take measures protect now and tomorrow. Parliament, in its wisdom, set up a bipartisan committee to go into these matters. As we speak, that issue, I've cited a draft report many months ago. Parliament is unable to state its position, which by inference is the position of the people they represent, on a matter as crucial as the misuse of the police service for electoral purposes. Parliament, as of now, has not been able to state its clear position on the subversion for political purposes of the Inspector General of Police. The Inspector General of Police does not have public support and public defense. Under these circumstances, what do you expect the police service to do? If we, members of the public, fail to insist on the independence of the police service and the need for the actors to be fair to all and so on, and we leave them to their fate, this is what we should be expecting. I'm completely disgusted by the fact that this matter has been allowed to die. Nobody is raising any question about it. If you were IGP Dampare, bottom line, he's a human being like all of us. Bottom line, why? If he didn't need his job, he would have resigned a long time ago. He needs the job. That's why he's still sitting there. And if he's threatened, and we do not rise to his defense, what do you expect him to do? That alone is an indication that something is going wrong. That alone. It's an individual affair. You don't register people on the basis of their party affiliation. The exercise is not about parties. It's about Ghanaian individuals who have attained a certain age and are qualified according to the constitution to vote. So as soon as mass mobilization sets in, huge problem. That's most important. Okay. Now, many things have happened. Many things have happened. Many incidents and have been reported. One is what happened at Willency, and that goes for the transfer of vote, where 3 buses allegedly arrived at the district office of the Electoral Commission. 3 buses. The buses were occupied by residents of Ashama, Tamale, and ABA Fuseni's constituency, Zanribu. They arrived in Willency. Now, the people in Ashama, the people in Tamale, and the people in Zanribu, how did they meet to hire buses together, to board the buses together in a group? How? How did they meet? So clearly, there's a master hand, or if you like, a mastermind behind that exercise which occurred in Willency. Forward. So I make no apologies for my radical stance on this. But you see, the 2 exercises appear to be confirming a trend. And we should be frightened if we observe that trend. All the public opinion surveys I have seen, at least over the last 5 years, suggest very strongly a decline in public confidence in the Electoral Commission. Public confidence in the Electoral Commission is dwindling, and dwindling at a very fast rate. Shouldn't we be asking why? What is it that has happened in these 2 exercises which should frighten us, those of us who have noticed this dwindling in public confidence? What is it? Look, one of the things that have worried me over the last few years and so on is the reckless statements made by commissioners on the Electoral Commission. Absolutely reckless statements. Imagine a footballer, a football game between Hearts and Kotoko, and the referee, just before the match, sings praises of the goalkeeper of one team and the midfield and so on. I mean, where in the world, including Haiti and the Papa Doc, will such a thing be allowed to pass? Where? Even under Papa Doc, Haiti. This would not have been allowed to pass. Openly partisan. Openly partisan. And the other time, I raised the question. I said, if during the era of Professor Mills or John Mahama, they had appointed Dr. Tony Edu as an electoral commission, what would have happened? I was in the studio with an NPP communicator and said, oh, as for Dr. Tony Edu, they know that he's an honest man, they will not object. This is where we have come. Even the NPP is undergoing some very severe changes. Because that communicator, if he had said that 10 years ago, he would have been dismissed from the party and been sanctioned for taking that position. You understand? But then we are coming to accept things as normal. Abrasive things. Things that undermine the constitutional order. Things that are done in our faces, not behind us. And so a certain level of acceptance is creeping in. And that's even more frightening than the acts themselves. The NPP primaries in Yendi, I hope you haven't forgotten. Electoral Commission officer is standing the NPP primaries and they are singing the song Eshi. And he takes the microphone and says, I would have liked to join you because I'm one of you. But the laws do not allow me to display my allegiance. What happened? Our signatures to the results. Afriyie's only duty was to declare results which have been affirmed by agents of the political parties. That's all. What system could be better than this system? Now, for some very strange reason, it has been decided to shut down the strong room. And I can imagine what could have happened in this country without the strong room. And I can't understand why that decision was made. I don't know why. I can't understand why that decision was made. But the decision has been made, and apparently the political parties have accepted it. Whom am I? Whom am I? You understand? Yes. The strong room has been closed. It's been abolished. The political parties have accepted it. Exactly. And the last election, look at what happened at the regional coalition centers. So, I cannot believe what is. Now, this whole idea of armed people going to registration centers, going to polling stations, and so on. There's a reason why the Commission of Inquiry came out with its report. What happened? It was jettisoned. A substantial part of it was jettisoned. Nothing has happened. Those who fired and injured, those who abused the state security services and so on, are walking free. Nothing has happened to them. Perhaps nothing would happen to them. Why do you think that others would not do the same? If this is not a license for misbehavior, what else can be a license for misbehavior? At the end of the last elections, 8 people were dead. 8 human beings were dead. Not cockroaches, not ants, not rabbits. 8 human beings died. What did they die for? They died in vain. Why is justice for the 8 people who died? Who cares? Our own reluctance to stand up and speak promotes injustice and promotes impunity. So we are all the time pointing our fingers to the Flagstaff House, to Nana Akufo-Addo, to Dampare, and so on. Let us remember that when you point your forefinger somewhere, the rest points to you. And we should begin to take responsibility for our inaction, for our condolence, is that how they say? You know, and so on. We should begin to take responsibility for that. And that is why I am happy that ordinary citizens, including the unemployed, including people who may never become ministers, who cannot even dream of becoming municipal chief executives, have taken on the struggle and have started the Free Koryoo campaign. That gives me hope. It gives me hope that if our big men would not speak, if our big men and women would allow themselves to be compromised, ordinary people will not. There's a problem, however, when there's a leadership failure and the masses have to take matters into their own hands. There's no telling where there's no telling the conduct of protest and its impact on society. And that is why it is important in our society, for leaders. Were they part of the Agyapong regime? They were not. Were they part of the Akufo regime? They were not. Politically innocent persons who suffered as a result of the failure of people like us to speak out, to stand for something. Our inaction, our silence, led to all of those people suffering atrocities. Atrocities that we would not wish for anybody else. We should learn those important lessons and apply those lessons today in order to avert similar situations. But listen, if we fail to learn those lessons and apply those lessons today, what we don't want to happen would happen. And the consequences will be on all of our heads. We should learn those important lessons. Our failure to learn those important lessons and apply the lessons we learn today has consequences for the country, but also has consequences for all of us, no matter our station in society. And we ought to be extremely careful.
Yo, for winning and some of Kwesi Pratt Jr., managing editor of the Inside newspaper, winning and some of the 2 year with Naa Koryoo Arrést and some of the 2 year, and no, not some 2 year, your former IGP, what they and some of 2 year after. Because to see news and our so we can subscribe. Let's just say, over subscribe, no like it. Now, watch a video, I'm awful for so in your dinner water. What's over to me actually wedding Afriyie and some way now, I will comment boxing. In my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.